Welcome to the First 40 on YouTube. The Goon Squad Sports Radio podcast comes on Blog Talk. We are here on YouTube for 40 minutes. It is Puma, Black Thor, and Ice Water. How you doing, Black?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. We're going to kick off this episode talking about the NFL, discussing the Rooney Rule. Now, as I understand it, Black, the Rooney Rule came about from a lawsuit from Johnny Cochran a while back. And in order to kind of offset that lawsuit and move it out the way, the Rooney Rule was instituted. And to me, it hasn't been effective. And so now they're talking about trying to incentivize the owners in helping them trying to get minority candidates into NFL teams. I'm thinking this is just smoke and mirrors once again, because how are you going to make the owners hire anybody, as far as I'm concerned? And until Black ownership comes about and they start hiring Black coordinators and coaches, I don't think this is ever going to change.
I have to say, I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, man. I think that they made some subtle changes, but I think it's in the right direction. I didn't like the idea about the draft pick stuff. That I didn't really care for. And let me start by saying this. I think there's work to be done on both sides, with the owners and with the potential job, people who are looking for job as coaches. But what they basically did is you have to interview more people, which is cool. And I like the fact that they're making teams start like a coaching and general manager training thing where they're going to bring people in, show them what they're looking for, and kind of basically show them the role, how to become a coach or a general manager. I think that's huge. I think that right there, it's within itself, is huge because now you open it up to people that may not have, you can open to college coaches, college assistant coaches that can come in. And the more they can start to see faces and start to network, I think in the long run it'll make a difference. I really do. I've said this several times where I think the NFL players have a responsibility when it comes to this. And I listened to Bar Arrington say this yesterday. He was like, he said, when I was playing, I still feel the same way. It's not my responsibility. And that's part of the problem. Because if you come to the NFL and when you look around, there's no one that looks like you, and you say nothing about it, you make no comment, you just go along, then you can't expect things to kind of move in a certain direction. The NFL players, young or old, they should start to voice their opinion. Just say it's not that I have everything wrong being coached by someone that doesn't look like me, but I think that these teams should be more representative of the percentage of players that are playing it. What is so wrong about saying that? You know, they're going to take your contract, they're going to take your firstborn. But until the mindset, too, of NFL players start to change a little bit, we can't expect the big change to happen upstairs. But one thing that I heard this week I really liked, they were saying that a lot of players that was taken in the first round of the NFL draft, more than half of them have Black player agents. Now, when the last time you ever heard that, bro? Mm-hmm. So I think this new generation of players starting to come in, subtly, they're starting to make the moves in the right direction. So I think the momentum is starting to get there. It may take a little while longer, but there's work to be done on both sides. I'm not going to put all the work definitely in the owner's box because I think that the players, I think some of the potential coaches, they have work to do as well. But I think it's going to get better. I mean, for the first time, I can stand back and say I think it's headed in the right direction.
Well, I kind of think that's what they were supposed to be doing in the first place, as far as bringing folks in and doing some training and things of that sort. But it just hasn't worked out. To me, it just hasn't worked out. And to me, you can't force owners to hire people that they don't want on their football squad in their organization. And I don't see what other way for this to happen unless you start opening up ownership to maybe new franchises, things of that sort. I just can't see any kind of scenario where you can force owners to say, listen, I mean, you can bring as many people as you want to interview, but if you have your person, just like the Oakland Raiders did maybe a couple of years ago with John Gruden, if you want to hire somebody, you have them, hey, sit back for a while. We got to honor this obligation. And then once we interview all the folks, you know how it goes. Once you interview all the folks, then we'll make the announcement, and then we'll just bring you in. We want to just put a good face on it to make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's in this situation.
Well, here again, I think more exposure of people coming in, and then you're right. I mean, that's a situation that should have been looked upon in NFL as not as being foul that John Gruden hired, because that was just totally disregarded for the Rooney Rule. But here again, the more people that you can get in front of these owners and start to talk, look at the Miami Dolphins basically, and it's quiet as kept. They have a black general manager and a black head coach. They just did. The owner turned over and said, you know what, you guys do what you want to do. I'm staying out the way. Now, that just didn't happen by accident. Here's the same owner that didn't like players kneeling for Kaepernick, whatever the case may be. But at some point, they were able to sell them on the fact that you give me the job, move out the way, we can get it done. A lot of times, man, you have to sometimes jobs are kind of won and happen in the off season, meaning that you have to kind of get out there. I don't know why black players, not black players, or black potential coaches, owners meeting have their owners meeting every year at the same time. Why not go there? Why not sit there? Why not go to an owner, shake their hand, blah, 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 blah. You have to kind of play somewhat of a game. You just can't basically sit on the sideline with a clipboard and go, you know what? They won't hire me. You just have to. I was listening to one player, and I'll shorten this real quick, but they were saying how most black players, they come when they come to the NFL, they want to ball out, they want to make the most money. They said a lot of the white players realize that, you know what, I got to start thinking about my life after football. So after a couple of years, they start playing their transition. They start playing the game. They start doing these certain things that, you know what, if I win a Super Bowl, if I'm not all-star, it's no big deal. They start preparing themselves to move on to where, so when they come out, they have these things ready for them. They start to plan for them. You know, most of our players, they want to play until they can't play no more, and then they want to get mad when the team wants to cut them. We have to change our mindset, bro. And like I said, there's work on both sides, but I think a lot of times we look at the owners and go, okay, they don't want to hire them. They don't know them. They don't know them. But we have to kind of change our mindset and go on a different path and kind of force them in a sense to say, no, we're here. But I think that, you know, in that case of Oakland Raiders, I mean, we all kind of saw that. I'm not saying that doesn't happen some of the times, but there's work for us to do on our side too. And I think a lot of times we don't want to speak on that. We rather just basically bang on the owners' door and say they want to hire us.
Okay. We're going to bring in Ice Water, a.k.a. the Funk Doctor. We're talking about the NFL Rooney Rule. They're reworking it. Give me your thoughts, bro.
Yeah, a couple of things come to mind. First of all, I don't think an owner or anybody should have to be rewarded for doing the right thing. Seriously. True. I mean, you gotta bait them with picks, get better picks, so you can choose a decent candidate. And I understand pretty much they have a prototype candidate that they like, and they like who they like. There's the people that look like them, or even somebody that they feel comfortable with. I get that. I mean, I really do get that. But at the same time, it just means that somebody has to break through, and you have to have opportunities for other people. And that goes a long way. The other point, too, is when I think about it from the standpoint, the last 3 cycles, it's been 20 opportunities, and 3 minority coaches got hired. Something has to happen. But I don't think by saying, you know, if you pick an African-American person, then we're going to upgrade your draft pick. It's like you're really cheapening the person.
Yeah.
So what if Eric Bieniemy gets a job, and he got a job because you got a great opportunity? I mean, you're cheapening it. I mean, granted, if that's the way they want to go, they can go that way, but I think you're cheapening it. And I know a lot of the men that are stepping up and having the opportunity, they feel that way. So why not just say, hey, here's what we need you to do? The other thing, too, is I know they increased it by one other person or a couple people. You have to start at the ground level, okay? It was mentioned before about getting in front of the owners, going to meetings and whatnot. You got to start at the ground level. That means, how about having a damn fellowship or some type of program at the bottom level where these people that are interested of color can find ways to see how the inner workings of a front office happens. That's where you got to start. You should make that mandatory. Hell, if you make people interns, whatever you got to do, that can happen. Then they have a way to work their way up the ladder and kind of find out more about it. Because right now, you're having a lot of guys that come in that don't have any type of true head coaching experience, but other people don't either. So who's going to lose that battle? Who's going to lose that battle? Either somebody really likes a minority candidate, or they're going with their buddy. The Gruden situation is clear. They supposedly were going to interview T. Martin, and the owner didn't even interview him. It was an assistant interview. Like, oh yeah, we done a job. They have to take it serious. If they don't want to hire, you cannot make these owners hire anybody. I'm just being real. We know that. because I said all along, it is a boys' club. And if you're down with the boys and they feel like they want to let you in, they will. If they don't, they're not going to. And no matter how many rules or how many things Roger Goodell talks about, he works for the owners. Okay? He does not hire, he does not fire. He doesn't. So, I mean, it's great that they're trying to make some moves, but at some point, why not institute something where you start people from the ground level or whatever that are interested and work their way up? Then that way they have the experience. So you turn them away then, they've been through all of the situations or whatnot, you turn them away then hey, that looks even more less credible because they went through the process.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this in our podcast, but like I said, I just think it's more smoke and mirrors from the NFL, and it's a strategic move on their part, and they're always thinking ahead to really increase their bottom line, and maybe this is one of the ways in doing this. But let's talk about some of the NFL players. The crime blotters and police blotters are filling up ICE with these players with idle time, quarantine. It seems like they will find a way, no matter what, to get in trouble in the off season. Give me your thoughts, man.
Yeah, the whole thing with Baker and Dunbar, man, is bizarre to me. I'm sitting there going like, two guys have opportunities to. One guy's already there, another guy's working his way up, and one guy just got traded, and you got a great opportunity, and you're at a party, and whatever happened is something I don't know. One guy said he was playing PlayStation, so they're doing all this stuff. But the fact that you put yourself in a position where other people can put you out and have you up on charges. One guy's up on 8 charges, man. 8 charges, dude. I'm making millions of dollars. The last damn thing I'm gonna be at, I don't care whose party it is. I'm serious. Talking about, we gambling. Now I'm gonna pull out guns and we just playing.
And I'm playing PlayStation.
Yeah, look, I got guns. Hey man, if he moves, shooting. We just playing. No, man. People, the way this world is now, everybody's trying to be on social media. Everybody's trying to be on VIP, and everybody's trying to get that $10,000 from that other network. That's how they're trying to roll. So why would you put yourself in that position? And if they come out of this clean or charges are dropped, you still got to think about what is the team looking at them like. What are the Giants doing? They even told the one guy from the Giants, man, don't even come to the team meetings yet. Just stay where you at. Yeah. No, don't come to the team meetings. Seattle's like on the fence about what's going on. So they need to see this process. But again, you're making millions of dollars. Something somebody wish they always could do. Why in the hell would you do that? You want to be a hood rat? Go back to the playground or go back to your backyard, hook up with your homeboys, play Cowboys and Indians. Everybody know you playing, move on with your life. Come on, man. Sometimes you got to let something go. I'm serious. It hurts my heart because it's like, well, see how they did me? No, the hell, you did that to yourself. Come on, man. Come on.
Black, we grew up together, and I mentioned years ago that I wanted to come back where I grew up, and you told me, don't come back. And I see it real clear now. But what do you make of this, man?
It's interesting because to me, if you take a hood rat, you give them more money, or you give them money, you just make them a bigger hood rat, bro. And that's what you have with these two cats. I'm sorry, man. They're basically, to put them, like I said, to put yourself in that type of situation. Now understanding where you are now in life, where you can go in life, and to put yourself in that situation and think it's a joke, this tells me you haven't transferred your mentality from where you were maybe 10, 15 years ago, bro. I mean, you went to a college campus, you spent some time there, you've been through all this, but your mind has not moved beyond that stupidness. And that's all it is, bro. You can sit around and say the charges are going to drop. I don't think it's going to be dropped. Even if let's just say hypothetically do drop the charges. Goodell is waiting to suspend you two. Waiting. He's just sitting in the wings and waiting to suspend you. And like I said, the Giants are basically they're gonna find a way to get you out of that contract so quick your head's gonna spin. Head will spin. It's like all over what? I mean, part of it, what I originally read is that the first night they was playing a card game. They can talk about this West game all they want, but they lost 70 G's in a card game between the two of them. Let's think about this for a second. Let me do the math. $35,000. I lost 35. You lost 35. Bro, the amount of money you're making, that's tip money. That's tip money. You should have gave them an extra 5 and kept it moving. But your feelings got hurt. You felt disrespected. So you come back and you take a Rolex watches. What is a Rolex watch that's worth $10,000 a year? What is that? I mean, see, but that's that mindset. I'm disrespected because I'm a man. And I said this on the show Sunday. We will talk about it on the next one, Black Man. Talk about being that disrespected. And look what you're facing now, bro. Look what all you two may lose. And the funny thing about it, the cat with Seattle was he had just in an interview saying, I want to live a life that is understandable, that works well for the friend, all this stuff. And that night you go out and do this as a knucklehead. Bro, you can't be that. I don't understand it. I just don't. But it's at some point, you have to make that transition. We all did in life. Some things we did when we were younger. As you start to age and mature, or you put yourself in a certain situation, you have to leave some things behind. You can't basically try to have this life and do this life. That keeping them real will keep you going wrong, bro. And these cats here are in a lot of trouble, man. But see, a lot of us want to, I'm keeping real. You keeping it real, all right. You keeping it real. When you basically become 6 numbers behind some bars, how real are you? How real are you?
That's real. That's real. That ain't no joke. That ain't no joke. I'll stay with you on this one, Black. Harrison, former Pittsburgh Steelers player, got on some podcast. A lot of folks are just talking on podcasts and just really just messing stuff up. Said that Tomlin paid his fine. And I knew the shoe was going to drop the next day when they said, okay, this may be, a bounty on certain players. And so I think Tomlin had to come out and kind of explain that. What are your thoughts about this, man?
I was disappointed in Harrison for doing this, bro. Because basically what he said is when he got fined, Thompson gave him an envelope.
Yeah.
We all know. We all can read between the lines, bro. So now you're back and trying your back off. Somebody the next day got to him because he's trying to back away and act like it. Do I believe? I think it happened. It happened. It just happened. But why now for a team that you played? And I think it was really into the foundation of he's sour about what happened with the Pittsburgh Steelers, how he left there, everything that took place. He's sour. So you're trying to find a way to throw a dig at the Steelers and throw a dig at Tomlin. That's the wrong way to do it, bro. I respect you more if you come out and just say, I'm pissed off the way they handle me, blah, blah, blah. But to come out and bring that out, and which NFL, I'm glad the NFL basically said, we're not going to do anything about it. We can't go back and investigate, whatever. But to come out now and say something like that, bro, I mean, that's bitch, bro. I've never looked at him as being that way, but it says to me, you're so deep in your scarred, your heart, your hurt emotions that you want to basically throw them out for doing something that you knew will make them look bad. And then the next day, I don't care how many muscles you got, bro. If you're going to put it out there, stick with it. Don't run away from it now and act like it didn't happen. Because to me, you look more like a pansy now that you backing off and like, no. Because here again, I'm sure he got inundated with calls and stuff to say, you know what, bro, if you're taking us down this road, this is what we're going to do for you. Mm-hmm. So he backed away. But to go on a podcast, and you have to be smart enough. I've seen him on different shows, and he handles himself well. But you have to understand things that you say, the rippling effect that they can have. And that was not the thing to bring up, bro. If that's true, and I believe it is, that's something you tell your buddy at a bar, at your house, you drinking. You do not go on a podcast. It could be played over and over and over again. And where other people have to basically answer for you. It makes no sense. For an organization that was damn good for you. Damn good to you, I should say.
Yeah. Just somebody hearing your envelope seems shady from right there. So that when he said handing them an envelope, and I'm like, oh man, this is not gonna end well. Your thoughts on this, man?
I didn't know what to think at first. I thought about the hard line of, you sorry, why you do that? You're supposed to be a man, all that. Then I thought the other end, I was like, well, wait a minute, though. Maybe he shouldn't have said it, but the fact that he did say it, it's like, well, maybe Tomlin, is it a play on words? Tomlin was literally helping him and providing a donation to help with his fine, okay? When you play on words, the words actually say a bounty is pretty much premeditated, right? It's premeditated. So it's an illicit action that you get paid for after that. So the question is, if a man says, you know what, man, damn, that was a pretty good hit you put on him. But you know what? I don't think you should have to pay that fine. So I'm just gonna hand you this envelope. That's one thing. But when you do the whole Greg Williams thing, yo man, for 37, you take a guy out from the neck on down. That's $3,700. They had a list of items, like you going to the grocery store, how much they will pay for this particular situation. So I'm not a lawyer, but playing on words, I mean, the B and the punk stage, I get that, and I'm not mad at that. But on the word tip, you can call it a donation to help the man with his fine. But again, on the other side, the question is, was it premeditated? Thank you.
Yeah, and if they did an investigation, they would try to find out if it was premeditated, try to gather witnesses to see if they were trying to take this guy out, things of that sort. So, yeah, but it just, when he said the envelope, he handed me an envelope. I'm like, this is not going to end well.
He should have just said it was a donation towards my phone.
yeah, clean it up that way. Speaking of podcasts, Horace Grant in the podcast After the Last Dance talked about how he was very offended that Michael Jordan kind of called him a snitch, and he kind of said, you know, Michael's the snitch. And I told you this thing wasn't going to really end really soon. I'm surprised that ESPN is really just kind of just really trying to just stretching this out. I'm pretty much done with it when they put Stephen A. Smith in After the Last Dance. I'm like, okay, they're really milking it. Let's move on. I know Black hadn't seen it, but I want to go to Black first. Because I know we're going to talk about this in the podcast a little bit and our take from the whole thing. And I have some observations that I think I'll give a little here and then a lot back in the podcast. But Black, I know you said you haven't been watching ESPN ever since this thing, what, about 2 months now? A month now?
To me, the best thing about this is that Horace Grant said, I'll whoop his 8 anytime. You know what I mean? Right now, I'd have done it back. That to me is the best thing about this whole situation, because I'm sick and tired, man. Myself personally, people putting butter on Michael Jordan. I'm just sick and tired of it, bro. I'm just sick and tired. You can't go to a sports app now without them licking up Michael Jordan like he's still playing. He's the best thing that ever happened to society. So with that being said, I don't have much. I'm just tired of it. And I said this from originally. I've never seen a man so selfish, so mean to people. I mean, has no respect for no one other than himself, his people, no one else. But yet people honor him like he's done something great. I don't get it. That's the world we live in. Because you have money, you have influence, you sell a pair of sneakers for outrageous prices. We lick them up like it's a popsicle. I don't get it, bro. I can't subscribe to it. I want nothing to do with it. You know, it makes me angry if I talk about it, because it just shows to me where we are as a society. We are. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. And I know ESPN have to do what they do for ratings, but to take him and put him in a 2-month series and act like he's done something that's beneficial to all of us, are you kidding me? At the end of the freaking day, all he did is dribble a basketball. He was good at that. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I know, Ice, we talked a little earlier, and we were trading notes about what we saw. One of the things I saw is the obvious absence of Craig Hodges in this. Like, he never existed in this. I didn't even see clips of Craig Hodges. They didn't even mention him, didn't talk about him. The other thing that I saw is that a lot of things that they were trying to promote, I think, never happened. The Bulls were never tough guys. They complained and whined a lot. Even their coach complained and whined a lot. And that changed the league. You don't see any roughhousing. Fouls back then now are flagrant fouls, flagrant 1 and 2s. And so it wasn't that they lift weights that summer. It was that the league was getting a little old. The top teams were getting a little old. It was their time. And that they finally got to the ears of the commissioner. The other thing that I thought that happened as Michael became so big after the Dream Team, that it was a takeover from Bird and Magic, and they had to protect their star, Michael Jordan. And he was global at that particular time. Magic and Bird wasn't global as much as Michael. and the Olympics was the stage that set that. Therefore, they had to change the league to make sure that they protect not only Michael Jordan, but the top stars in the NBA. Your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, well, one, I thought it was a great time filler. That was cool. And ESPN took full advantage of it. So that's what it was. I know a lot of new younger people got a chance to learn about Jordan and how selfish he was and all that other stuff. But the part of it was, like I said, it generated a lot of conversation. I was looking to see more or less some things that were maybe something I didn't know. And I didn't really see that. But the way that they portrayed it was interesting. I think I told you earlier, one of the things I would like to have seen was a little bit more information from Ron Harper. I think Ron Harper could have kind of given you a true different kind of perspective, because he played with the Cavs when they were chasing the Bulls, and then the Cavs lost their mind and got rid of him for $2.50, Danny Ferry and Reggie Williams. And then Michael Jordan realizing too that telling Phil that this dude was probably one of the best competitors we went against. And he ends up with the Bulls, and he ends up playing with the Lakers too, and won 5 championships. I think he had a unique perspective. And when you watch the games, when I was watching, he was always like in the right place at the right time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, you never heard his name. You never heard it with Pippen and Jordan. And I know people going to say I'm tripping because that's my homeboy, and I played against him back in the day. But still, I think he really kind of showed you a different look where he was interchangeable and mobile in a lot of different ways. And somebody even like Craig Hodges, they could have done a little bit more. I mean, the Scott Burrell thing was, to me, was a little bit over the top, because all he did was giggle and laugh. And, man, you tripping. I'm like, why don't you just smack him in the face one time or something? But that was part of the other plot. So anyway, they're going to keep milking it. I'm done with it as well. I did want to watch it, just kind of see what it was like and see what was behind it. But say what they want to. But that Jerry Krause was a muff, wasn't he? They could not mess with him. You know, they talked about him and everything, but for as horrible as they said he was, the one thing he did do, he was able to bring the majority of that talent together and put it together so they could win. So that's one thing they don't talk about. They just kind of talked about him being horrible and him pissing everybody off, which he did. But initially, he's one of the guys that actually put everything together, because nobody knew who the hell Scottie Pippen was from Central Arkansas. And nobody knew that they should trade Charles Oakley so they get the rights to Scottie Pippen, blah, blah, blah. That takes somebody had to know something to make those type of trades, along with having Horace Grant that same year.
Yeah, and I don't care, ESPN, this is a show, the reason why I love our show is because we're like the Bernie Mac of sports talk. We're not afraid to say what we need to say and what we see. And I don't care how many times you say ESPN and all the talking heads on ESPN, Scottie Pippen is not top 50 in the NBA. That's that. He's not. He's not. Just because he works for your network, that don't put him at top 50. I was there. I saw him quit. I saw him not being able to lead teams to championships. No matter where he went, they didn't win after Jordan. So stop trying to put him in the top 50. And I can tell you who should have been in the top 50 instead of him.
I say one thing, and we talked about this earlier. I had one thing, and all it is straight across the board. Scottie Pippen was they say top 50. Tell me how Scottie Pippen is top 50 over Dominique Wilkins. When you say a lot of Hawks basketball, you don't say Dan Roundfield. You don't say Tree Rollins. You don't say Doc Rivers. You don't say John Battle. You don't say John. You don't say Larry Drew. You say one damn name, and all you got. You can even say Neek. Everybody knows he's the biggest thing in Atlanta sports. One of the biggest things, except for Nation Boy Ric Flair. That's what it is. That's how damn big Dominique is. So I don't see how a guy that was totally the franchise, the part of the main franchise, and the leader of the Atlanta Hawks for years, playing against some of the best teams in Boston that they just couldn't get over the hump. And again, when Scottie Pippen, I told you earlier, had the opportunity with that loaded squad in Portland, all they needed was somebody to give them a little leadership. If you think I'm lying, I think that was the 1999-2000 season. Go back and look at that roster. They were loaded, and he did nothing to take them over the bridge. They were up by 13 at the start of the fourth quarter in Game 7 and gave it away.
Yep. All right, get your popcorn ready because it's going to be a show. We're going to talk about Mike Tyson. Now, if you want the round one of this, go to When Black Men Talk on Blog Talk Radio, where we talked about it, where Ice Thor went up against Ice Water went up against Black Thor in this discussion. All right, Mike Tyson's return. We talked about this on our podcast last week and maybe the week before, but Black sent us a story on our direct message on Facebook, and I'm gonna let Black talk about this. I don't think Mike Tyson should come back, and they're talking about either him fighting Briggs or Holyfield. He's 53 years old, but Black, take it away. Ding, ding, ding.
I knew nothing about Briggs, baby. I knew nothing about Briggs. I just, here again, we live in a world now with, especially social media, kind of basically lays a platform for a lot of different things. And as I said Sunday night, that video that came on Mike Tyson throwing jabs was not by an accident. It just wasn't, bro. It wasn't by accident. The motions are already starting to turn. They're just trying to basically build a platform to earn a lot of this. Now, whether we want to see him fight or not, and I think if he does get in the ring, it was not going to be a 12-round bout. They probably dumb it down to 3-6 rounds. Man, it's going to be more like an exhibition. But Mike Tyson is a draw. I mean, that's the thing. Mike Tyson still draws. And when he basically talked, for every reason, he don't have to say much. People love Mike Tyson, no matter what color you are. Mike Tyson represents something to the average blue-collar worker that no other fighter in a long time represents, and they know that, and boxing is missing that. So they're not going to stop until Mike Tyson's in the ring with some gloves on. Whether it's Briggs or whether it's Holyfield, to me, I think Holyfield is more of a match because they fought before. I don't think Briggs is going to bring the same excitement. I didn't even know that was going on. So they just, to me, it just further says to my argument what I've been saying is possibly going to happen. But I think him and Holyfield will basically bring people back to boxing that's left boxing a long time ago. And it's not even for to see who can fight and who's even better. It's just something that people will be excited about to see take place. So I understand, when people say they don't want to see Mike get hurt, whatever the case may be, but you got to realize too, boxing is more of a business than a sport. It just is. It was maybe a sport years ago when we grew up watching it, but over the years, boxing has basically transferred from being a sport to a business. So if you look at Mike Tyson from a business perspective, they're going to put him in the ring, bro. It's just that simple. I mean, I find it hard to believe that people just can't see it on that level, but a lot of times we get in our emotions and we see the emotions and we're not seeing it outside of our emotions.
Yeah, I just would hate to see it because he's gotten to a point in his life where things are calm and stable. And I think that has a lot to do with his wife, his current wife now, who's been able to put some stability in his life. And for him to be 53, to get out there now and risk that all. And like I said, I saw a videotape of him a few weeks ago, and he seems like he's fighting demons, and he doesn't want them to come out. If they come out, it's like, it'll go right back to the old Mike Tyson that a lot of folks feared, and who was suicidal, who didn't care about his life or anybody else's life. Ice, your thoughts?
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Before I start, I'm just real quick, like just 10 seconds. But just imagine that video you saw 2 months ago was laying the foundation for what's getting ready to come, bro.
Maybe.
Just imagine.
Maybe. Ice?
You know what, man? I thought about this and I'm done. I am done. I was emotional before. Y'all don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I'm joining the party. So y'all don't care. He want to kill himself, get out there and do that, then damn it, so what? I ain't getting no money. I'm going to be like everybody else. I'm going to roll with this. So the point of it is, that's what he want to do. Want to get in the ring, have at it, brother. Good luck. Who should he fight? Hell, we heard about Holyfield. I think Holyfield will make more sense. Shannon Briggs is, it used to be a tough fight. He fought a lot of people. He fought George Foreman. He fought Klitschko. But yeah, Holyfield is what everybody wants to see. And you want to see two old ass men get out in the ring and box each other, then so be it. I mean, all right, cool. I mean, whatever. I'm done. Nobody else cares, so I ain't caring.
See what you did, Black.
I'm not. I don't know. Look, because now they're talking about Lennox Lewis is a possibility. Klitschko is a possibility. And now Fury's daddy want to fight him. So why not let him fight Fury's daddy? Sound like he got 5 fights for me. Hell, Mike Tyson, look, he got 5 potential fights. Get that money, Mike. And then you don't know where the hell you at after the second one. You have not fought in 15 years. If you want to get out there and get your damn brain scrambled, bro, I got love for you. I tried to save you, but damn it, if that's how you're gonna roll, get your money, kids be taken care of. Do you? I'm tired of giving a damn. I'm done. So you know what? I don't even have the breath even more to even care anymore. I just gave my little critique about as an analyst, and I'm done. Mike Tyson, you don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. That's how it is. Bro.
See what you did, Black. Got the man wearing his sunglasses.
I'm done.
Man.
I'm done. And when I just say this, and when his ass is on the stretcher, Black Thor, I want you to have that same smile you have right now.
Bring that same intensity.
Exactly. That's all I want.
I'm going to say this, man. I got to stop breaking stuff on this show, man. I break too much stuff on this show. I break too much in this. I think.
Oh, man. Hey, I think you ought to up his pay.
All right, question from the Goons, man. Black, what's your question?
You and I talked about this a little bit, man. John Harbaugh came out and said maybe it was John, whoever, one of the brothers came out and said a couple weeks ago that college football players should be one and done. What the?
Ice, what's your thought?
How is that even possible? I'm seriously, how is that even possible? One and done. I mean, one, because it's the NCAA and the way they go about their business. You know how much money they make off of college football? One and done? I mean, if somebody wants to leave or whatever, but here's the thing. Unfortunately, the marquee league is the NFL. So you can try to go to Canada and play, you're not gonna make that real money, but it is about the NFL. And I don't think they would ever, I don't think the NFL would ever try to open the door because the guys are too young. That's why they stipulate that you have to have, 3 years in, because they don't want little boys playing with grown men, because it cheapens the product as well.
He's probably on that Keith Sweat tip. You may be young, but you're ready.
Yeah.
So I heard him speak about that. Some of these guys may be ready, and if they don't get drafted, then they can come back. But yeah, I'm with Ice. I don't know if the NFL is going to go for this because sometimes some of those younger guys playing against grown men, something's not right about that. But your thoughts, Black?
I think that was very irresponsible for me to say such, bro. You should spend more time trying to get Michigan to be a powerhouse than saying something that's stupid. Realistically, man. I'm hoping that if he doesn't do well this year, they kind of yank him out of that coaching job in the first place. But that's the dumbest thing I heard a college coach say in a long time. I think Nick Saban said some things that are stupid, but he took the trophy with that one.
Wow. Don't move me from Ann Arbor. Keep me right there.
Ice, what's your question?
Oh, no, you didn't have a question. I can't even get over what he just said. Woo! Oh, man. Hey, real quick, when you think about, I know we used to all watch wrestling and whatnot. The story is coming back up about Owen Hart's death when the fact that they had the pay-per-view, he plunged 80 feet to his death, and now his wife is coming out just talking about it in the series. But my point of it is he plunged 80 feet to his death, and they took 15 minutes off of pay-per-view, stopped the pay-per-view for 15 minutes, and they kept going. And he died right there on the floor.
Black?
It's sad, but I look at the WWE or whatever it's called now, and it's humongous, but there was a lot of pain and broken bones that went into making what they are, man. It doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good, but it is what it is, man. And it's sad that he lost his life behind it, but I think he got caught up, too, in the adrenaline trying to have that name out there, because he should never have been up that high trying to come down. Never. But they were building at the time, and it's what took place.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this, and I know they do a series on Vice TV called the Dark Side of Wrestling, and I posted one of them on there about the Road Warriors. But this should be an interesting story. I want to see this particular story because that particular show goes into ins and outs. And if you're a wrestling fan, you still believe that it's real, don't watch this show. Don't watch this show because they get real about the lives of these guys and what they do to try to put on a show for everybody. Your thoughts real quick, Ice.
Yeah, I just don't understand that, man. I've been watching wrestling since I was a tot. My first live performance I watched was with Bobo Brazil, one of the first true African-American wrestlers. But the fact that you had a pay-per-view and this man died and you kept going, hell nah. All the money they made over the years, a man died. And they said even to the point where they just brought other wrestlers out and they could still feel the loose floorboards that were down when he died. Damn. For real?
Yeah.
I guess that's how they do with elephants at the circus. Shoot them in the head and move them to the back, bring on the next one. Damn.
Wow. That's going to do it for our episode on the First 40. Catch us on the Goon Squad Sports Radio podcast. We'll see you next time.